Hey everyone, and welcome back to week, what is it? 4. Small Seed Big Impact, the podcast. Officially 1 month of recording episodes. Look at us go. And we have a good one coming to you this week.
Maybe.
I mean, it's good for us. Like, it's an origin story.
Yeah. We're
going to be talking about Small Seed's origin story, which, if you've been around long enough, you kind of know. You know what's crazy? Real quick side note. We're going to tell this whole thing, but we still have, literally, I think she was our first customer, if not our very first customer, like one of our very first customers ever, who ever bought Small Seed Bar, like, when we were a different name, she still buys our bars. I think that's so cool. Every time I see her name, I'm like, oh, makes my heart so happy. I'm like, you've literally lasted, like, you've been around, like, you know, you've seen everything, you know it all.
And that person just emailed us. They're like, I saw you at Farmers Market 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Somebody said that?
Yeah, in an email. They emailed us.
Wow, I didn't see that email.
2 weeks ago?
I didn't see that email. That's literally wild to me that people still, that they followed us. Yes, that's so crazy. That's so crazy to me because that's where she came from too.
You hustled to get into.
I know.
We showed up there week after week until she finally just relented.
I know. And then we ended up being good. And then she ended up loving me.
Yeah. Then she invited you to our other one.
Yeah.
Which sucked.
Oh, yeah.
The La Mesa
one. But it was nice because it was right by our house. So.
For sure. It was literally like a hop, jump, and a skip.
Yeah, I did not care to do that one. I didn't care because it was so close. Okay, let's get in. Yeah.
Wait, recap though.
Recap.
I went into storage and found my whiteboard from the kitchen.
Oh, and what does it say on it?
Everything I said. But it said, on one of the things it says, small seeds that you can plant to make a big impact.
Small seeds that you can plant to make a big impact.
Yeah, that's our podcast.
Fire.
I think that's from our podcast.
I think it is too. I think that was like my little.
I laughed.
You laughed?
When I read it.
That I used to have like a little intro, like I don't know. I guess one of those like pre-recorded ones that you put before everyone. That's what I thought you had to do back in the day.
I mean, most people do.
Some people do have that. No, people don't have a pre-recorded one. I think they just have like an intro that they give. Yeah, for sure. Which maybe one day we'll do that. I'm not there yet. First, we'll have to figure out what it is we are, and then, like, what are you coming here for besides just hearing us talk? And, like, hopefully learning something. But we don't know what you're learning about until we sit down and talk about it.
You're learning about whatever we learned about.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever sparked our mind this week is what we're talking about. Is what's happening.
Exactly. Okay. So.
Small seed origin.
Small seed origin story. Bring it back. Those of you that don't know, Small Seed started in San Diego when we used to live in San Diego before we had kids. I started Small Seed because Shane and I were both working for startup companies. It's funny, Shane always tells me we tell this story different ways, so maybe I'll tell my version and then you can tell me if I'm missing stuff from it. Because you always tell me that we tell it in different ways.
I mean, we just have different perspectives.
I know. Well,
everyone tells every story differently.
Yeah, exactly. But this is my view of what happened.
And you're the boss, so you're right. Whatever you say.
No, you have to tell me when your perspective is off. Tell me so you can tell your side of it. Sure. No, Small Seed literally grew from a passion project, or just like a necessity, I guess, a need for protein bars that were good. Around the same time we went vegan and gluten free, right? Around the same time.
I went gluten free way before I went vegan.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Like 2
way
years.
Before.
I
was dairy free, gluten free, like way before.
For 2 years before we were ever vegan. You're right. But then really when we went vegan is when I was really like.
Well, you went health conscious in 2016, and then we went vegan in 2017. So.
Yes.
Okay.
The pattern is.
Sorry.
Gluten free. Got my health coach certification.
Gluten free, dairy free.
Gluten free, dairy free.
Because I was sick.
But I still ate goat cheese from the farmer's market.
That's not dairy.
It's technically dairy.
I argue it's not dairy.
How is that not? So you would eat it?
Right now? No,
well, no, you're vegan. But if you were dairy free, you would eat it?
For sure.
Because it's different enzymes?
I personally consider dairy is a byproduct of, milk from a cow. That's just how I view dairy. I know, like, when you Google it now, it's like a whole different category.
Yeah, dairy is like from cow.
To me, it's like a specialty
goat, sheep.
Sure, but to me, I just look at a cow.
Mostly because the dairy industry is mostly cow industry, but it's any.
Also, there's just a lot of studies that say that goat milk has a lot of health benefits, and dairy has absolutely zero.
Do you hear me?
Zero health benefits.
Well, I do think it's funny when you look at like the history of dairy, how like they like really far back they used to use goat milk, like they always use goat milk, and dairy was supplemented for babies, like for either if the mom died in childbirth, something happened to the mother.
Can't breastfeed.
It wasn't I don't think moms could not breastfeed then. Like I'm not sure if that was necessarily a thing. Maybe they weren't producing as much milk. Maybe they died in childbirth, whatever it was. And they used to put the baby on the teat of the like goat. Literally held like they'd put the goat up on the table or wherever, bring it to the barn, and the baby would literally drink goat's milk because goats are more closely like the makeup for goat milk. The makeup for goat milk is more closely related to human milk, which makes sense in a way because a goat is what, like 200 pounds?
Similar size. Yeah.
Like it grows up to be 200 pounds and a cow's like 1,000 pounds. So I don't know why we're drinking milk of 1,000 pound
and now
animal.
Humans are 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
We're going to edit that. Just kidding. We're going to leave it. All right, back to our story.
Okay. But yeah, so we were both working for different startups at the time. Shane was working like 1 million hours a week, had one day off. I was working for multiple startups while writing a business plan for what I thought I was going to do, which was open up like a health conscious cafe. And we're just so busy. When we went gluten free and dairy free, and like we just became more health conscious, we just basically stopped eating stuff. Like we just were not eating throughout the day of like everything we used to eat. We're very much extremists. So I feel like we like realized everything, and most people would be like, I'm just gonna wean into it. No, we just cut everything out. We threw it all away. I'm a type of person, once I know it, I just cannot go. Like I can't compromise on it.
Like we had products that were like at our house.
Yes, and we
instead
threw them
of just
away.
eating them, and then we were just like, they're in the trash.
No, yeah, we threw them away or gave them away, like or whatever. But yeah, like I just cannot. I can't go into something.
Once I'm convinced, there's just nothing.
Huh? Me too. Yeah, me too. I'm like, I'll like $200. I'll throw it away. I don't care what it is. Like, so, excuse me. So yeah, so we were so busy we weren't eating. So I started making bars for us at our house with protein. I was like, okay, just storing like nuts, seeds, oats, basically just making like essentially what Small Seed Bar is. Small Seed Bar has evolved a lot over time, but it's still very much rooted in its OG stuff, like exactly what it was made with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this was 2017 for everyone.
Yes, this was 2017.
Like February.
So we started making them. We were eating them when we were busy. We would like give them to friends and coworkers and like people at the gym and stuff, just like because we were eating them. And then everybody started telling us like, these are really good. You guys should sell these. You should sell these. These are really good. Are you going to sell them? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I'm not going to sell them. I'm working on my plan to open up a cafe. I'm not going to sell these. And then Shane was like, I think you were the one who like might have convinced me to start doing it.
Yes.
He was like, let's see what happens with it. So we were in San Diego, California at the time. In San Diego, like the big thing is farmers markets. So, which now that we live in South Carolina, now that we live in Charleston, it's also a really big thing here, which is so nice. It's like so fun. Yeah, it's so fun because I feel like it's very much like it's like it reminds me a lot of California in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Or
a lot of San Diego. It reminds me a lot of San Diego in a lot of ways. Yeah. So we started going to farmers. So we like formulated more because at the time it was just I only was making one bar. The OG bar, which is still my favorite bar, which is Opal's favorite bar too, which is a chocolate fudge. At the time, it was called Brownie.
It was baked at first.
It was baked. We had two baked ones and one not baked.
In the very beginning, Brownie was baked.
Yes. The brownie and peanut butter were baked, and then we had maple nut, which it was not baked. Those were the three original flavors,
nut
right?
Filled.
Nut filled. Yeah, nut filled. It wasn't maple nut. It was nut filled.
Yeah.
And what am I saying?
I'm sorry?
What was I just saying?
You're talking about farmers markets?
Oh, yeah, so we got into farmers markets, and we were, like, getting a lot of really good feedback, which is kind of hard to get into the farmers markets in San Diego because it's such a big thing. They're so competitive. You really have to, like, have a good product. Your product has to move. You have to be able to make,
yeah, because you either, A, pay for a booth, which is, like, what they don't want you to do, but you just pay for a booth, or they make the bigger people that they want there pay a percentage of their sales. So they want people who move volume.
So basically, you have to either say, like, the booth is $50, if you don't make $50, you pay $50. If you make more than $50, you have to pay like 50 plus the percentage of whatever the sales are that you make. So of course they want people to be moving product. It's very competitive, especially the bigger ones. They're very competitive to get into and to stay into, or to stay in them. And they're literally all over. Like they're in every little nook.
Waiting lists.
Yeah, they're in every little nook. Like we got into Ocean Beach.
Oh yeah.
And that was like a really long waiting list for that one.
I remember just driving on a motorcycle freezing because it was nighttime one.
Yeah, it
was so cold.
It was a really busy one too. Yeah. That was a really busy one. So I started getting to farmers markets. We were still getting really good feedback. At this point, it was like people who we didn't have immediate connections to, which I feel like that's like the best.
The best people.
Yeah, those are the best people because those people are either going to tell you the truth. Like they don't care to hurt your feelings because they don't know you. They're not your friends or your coworkers or like people who sampling on all the time.
Like we had immediate feedback because it's not like we had made the vibe bar. We'd give samples back.
Yeah, we sampled everything, which that too is also like a learning curve. People just come around and sample, and don't buy product. That's okay though, because that's what farmers markets are for. And also, you just want the feedback, especially when you're a new business. You just want the feedback of like, how are these? So still in my head though, I'm still working on the business plan. I had just finished my health coach certification. I wasn't sure what I was doing with that, and I was like, this is cool, and we're doing it, and this is fun, but like I wasn't really sure like where it was gonna go. When 3 months in.
Yeah, we officially launched farmers markets in June, and September is when we got that.
So 5 months.
No, 3 months.
Wait, when did
we started farmers markets in June?
Oh, June. Okay, we started. Oh, I thought we started. Oh no,
we
solidified it. Yeah. We decided we were gonna. We actually came
June's
up.
When we started.
We came up with this whole like we said we were going to do it. Yeah. We made the decision to actually do it and like start a business when we were on our honeymoon. Like when we got married.
No, we didn't have a honeymoon.
We got married, and then we stayed for a couple. We had a destination wedding.
Yes.
And we stayed a couple extra days.
Sure.
That was our honeymoon. Because Sunday was really our honeymoon.
Yeah, we didn't have a honeymoon.
But, so, when we got married,
wedding.
Our wedding, our wedding trip is when we decided, all right, we're going to do Small Seed. We literally talked about the name. We talked about what it was going to be. Like, we talked about all of it. Like, so excited coming home. I remember, like, I have a video of us, like, the first video. I don't know if it's still on Small Seed's Instagram, but, like, one of the first videos on Small Seed's Instagram was, like, the plane. Like, leaving, Jamaica, and it was like, come in, like, I don't know, whatever, but that's just one of the first videos on there, which is funny. So after doing it for 5 months, we got, how many months? 3 months? 3. Sorry. After doing the farmers markets for 3 months, we got our first wholesale account. And for me, that was like really big. And for Shane too, that was like his first like wake up moment where he's like, okay, like let's actually run with this. Like this is more than just like a small business. Like we can actually do this. Like we can make this big. And for me too, that was like my like, okay, people like this enough that they're like not just going to try it on, you know, like I feel like I was like, people want to carry these in their store. Like this is crazy. It was at a gym. This gym was like a really high end gym in California or in San Diego.
Not only that, we had no nutritional labels. They were hand wrapped in butcher paper with a circle sticker with just like this little logo that we made. And the gym charged $7 a bar, and they sold every week. Blew my mind.
Yeah, that was crazy. They were nothing. I remember
our bars are 10 times better now than they were back then, and I would never sell them for $7.
Me either.
I would never. I retract that. I would sell them for $7. I don't think anyone would buy them for $7.
It's crazy. Like, but that just goes to show you also the clientele that was at this place. Like, they didn't care.
But also, it was. And it still is, in my opinion, the only product. But back then especially, that's like actual real food.
Like truly clean.
For sure.
For sure. I think
Which is way different.
Yeah. And I think, and it's also like, it was on the rise of all of like the health, nutrition. Like,
we're talking 8 years ago.
Yeah. This was like when all of this was becoming.
We were before the curve.
Yeah. This is when everything was becoming very popular. Like all of the things that we still are today, which is like, you know, we use no preservatives, we use no artificial flavoring, we use like no refined sugar, none of that stuff. That's always who we've been and who we continue to be. And I think that that's really what set us above all the other people. We've never, like, we didn't have natural flavors. We didn't have like all that stuff that all these other bar companies have. And I think people were becoming more aware and people were learning more, especially in San Diego at the time, or in Southern California at the time. I'm not sure if it's still like this. I'm sure it's still like this, but it was very much like the forefront of the health movement, and like
that's where
everything starts there. Yeah, everything starts there. So when there's like a new research that comes out, new information that comes out, a new product that like all the celebrities are using, like just like blows up over there first before it kind of like trickles its way across the rest of the United States. So yeah, so once we did that, it's like I was working at a restaurant at the time because, like I said, I thought I was going to open up a restaurant. So I quit my restaurant job, started doing Small Seed full time. I mean, like Small Seed was making no money. Literally no money. Like we were just,
I spent $30,000.
Yeah, we were just like dishing money out.
From when we like were playing around with it in the summer until we moved to North Carolina, which was 8 months later, $30,000 invested.
Yeah, just nothing.
With only information as the return. Like we just got experience, you know?
Yeah, we do.
That's the only thing we got.
So I left my job, and then I was like still just doing Small Seed full time. Basically, the reason why I left is because I wanted to do more farmers markets. So I started doing like 5 farmers markets a week. And then Shane was like helping me while he was still doing his other job, though, basically at night when like his crew would leave. Sometimes I would come to his kitchen and then we would make bars there, or even he sometimes would just make them on his own.
I was making them by myself already back then. I should have known.
You should have known the role you were going to play in this. Sometimes he would just make them, because I was originally making them in our kitchen at our house, which is what I would do when I couldn't go to your kitchen. Sure. But sometimes I would go to your kitchen, or sometimes you would make them for me after like his whole crew left, and you'd have the kitchen, and you would come back like late with all the bars made.
That's because I had just industrial equipment, you know.
Yeah. It was much easier to make them in your kitchen than it was in our kitchen. Yeah. So we were doing that. Got the wholesale account. Left my job. How many months later did you leave your job?
The same.
No.
In September.
No, you didn't leave it in September.
I did. September 21st.
Did you?
I did.
All right. Well, there you go. Shane left his job. I think it was like a month later. I must have left mine first, and then a month later you left yours. I think that's what it was.
No, I left when we got the wholesale accounts.
Yeah,
you left before I left.
Yeah. I probably left like a month before Shane. So then we were both self-employed. His whole thing was he was going to do personal training to like help with like money also. Anyways, we ended up getting pregnant, finding out we're pregnant, and that was not our plan. Not that we were being safe, but that was not our plan.
This is November.
This is November at this point. So, wait, let me backtrack. So we got our first wholesale account, and we're like, all right, sick. Then that location had 3 other locations, and we ended up getting into all the 3 other locations. However, just because you're in one doesn't mean you're in the other. You have to basically prove yourself again. So went there, demoed, gave our products away. Hustled. Yeah, people said they liked them, got feedback from their clients.
Remember that pool party we had to go to?
Yeah. Did like events so that more people could try our bars. We basically like our whole thing was like we just wanted to give as many bars away as we could. I had a bar button up because I literally only wore black. I know you had no clothes.
But yeah, I had to wear some Ben's little funky shirts.
That is funny. I do remember that. I wore the old lady who died next to us. Yeah. Stole all her clothes. I wore her shirt. So we were like just hustling. Basically just wanted to get our bars in everybody's hands.
1, 2, many 3. Yeah. Then we got to the 5th. Then we got 5 farmers markets.
Yes, then we're in 5 farmers markets.
We added the one they were just talking about before this, Ocean Beach.
Yeah.
When I was already training.
Yes, because I remember
that was our 5th one.
Yeah.
Then we were like that was capped. Like
yeah.
That was we were 5 days a week at that, and then 3 wholesale accounts. It was like a hustle.
I was like
hustle making no money.
And on top of that, I was also like trying to figure out like how I can make our product look more legit and be still not super expensive, and then also just making our product better. And then also was going around and like cold calling, cold emailing, cold showing up to different locations, like to little gyms and juice bars and coffee shops and like all that stuff to try to get our bars in other locations as well. And if you have ever started your own CPG company, this is like the most, that part right there just really builds character.
It's sales. It's door-to-door sales.
Yeah, it's door-to-door sales. It really builds character.
If anyone's trying to sell to anything, to anyone who doesn't want it.
Like, I learned really early people lie to your face and then don't care about it. So, like, I used to get real pumped, be like, they said they're interested, like, they loved them, blah, blah, blah. And then they would just fully, blatantly, like, flat out ignore me for the rest of the time. Like, I'd go in, they'd be like, no, sorry, we're not going to carry your product. I'm like, it's fine. Why did you say you loved them then? So, yeah, like, you'll learn that very early. And how many, like, just countless hours, just like cold calling and emailing people for no one to ever get back to you.
Countless samples that you'll never
so many samples, so much money in samples that, you'll just never.
So we'll fast forward this to after we got pregnant. And then,
so we got pregnant, we were like, neither of us had jobs. I mean, we had jobs, but we didn't have jobs that were making money. We didn't have jobs that were pulling in money. We had no savings account, no money in a savings account. We had nothing. And we're like, we cannot raise a child here under these circumstances. California's crazy. We would have never, and San Diego we did like San Diego, but we would have never been able to afford a house there. We could not barely afford like living there, and then definitely not with a child. My brother was living with us at the time. Like, we had to have a roommate, you know what I mean? So we were like, we had visited Raleigh, North Carolina, a couple months before that when I was making my business plan for the cafe, because I thought that Raleigh is where I wanted to open the cafe.
Yeah.
Well, it was just one of the places on my list. I wanted to go check out, like, get a feel for the people, get a feel for the place. So we went to check it out. We're like, when we found out we were pregnant, we're like, we have to move. And we literally were like, Raleigh was cool. Like, everybody there seemed really nice. That seemed like a cool spot. Like, statistically, when you look at it, like, it's got a lot of, like, health-conscious people.
Like upcoming young professionals.
Young professionals. That's what it is. It's got the colleges. Like, so we basically just pulled the trigger. We were like, we're leaving.
Instantaneous.
We were like, we're leaving. And
it was like our lease was about to end. I was like, I need to know right now. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, no,
I was like, we got to tell them right now. I was like, 30 days is today.
Yeah.
And we just sent email to them. We're leaving. The end.
We're doing it, yeah. So
that's how we do everything, by the way.
Yeah, we're very, again, extremist.
Expect full grades in 3 years. Just from just 10 years of
No, but I feel like what's good about us is we are very good on like making decisions and not turning back. Like, I feel like
it's over. Once a decision made, it's over.
It's like solidified. Like, it is what it is. We don't think about like what if, or like it could have been this, or like I just never, like, neither of us, which is so good that neither of us do this, because we just like the decision is made and then we're like full blown like, that is the only decision there was, like we're just like, yeah. But, and then anything that happens from that, we're like, I made this decision. This was the best decision at the time that I believe was the best decision at the time. Like, that's how I think about it. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is what I needed to do at the time. Anyways, we moved to Raleigh, knowing no one. We didn't know anybody, had no connections there, no wholesale accounts, nothing. Had, like, we kind of like had a lull in our time moving, so like we weren't shipping out to like our 5 customers we had anyways. We were trying to, because we had left so quickly from the farmers markets, I tried to tell everybody like only 2 weeks. I literally had 2 weeks, like I was only there for 2 weeks. We decided we were leaving, and then 2 weeks later, like, I left. Like, I pulled out of the farmers markets because then I had to pack up our house, and then we left. So I was like trying to convince everybody, like, order from us online, we'll still ship them to you, like, order online. Which I feel like 8 years ago, like, people ordered online, but it wasn't like as common as it is now. You know what I mean?
Still very
people would call. I just remember that woman would always call me and be like, "Oh, I want this." Remember? And I'm like, she like did not understand. Or people would email us like to order instead of just going to our website.
Yeah, people still like to do that nowadays. We just don't have those options.
Oh, I haven't gotten an email or a call to place an order. Have you? Have we on Hello?
If we had a phone number up, 100%. If people do email, they're like, people would 100% call.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have a number up there.
Yeah.
Once I can,
it's somehow connected to Small Seed. I have no idea how, but my number is up there somehow.
But people do email sometimes, like, I have no idea, like, my account's not working, or I can't place this order.
Well, that's totally different. No, that's totally different than being like...
If we had a number, though, people would call all the time.
No. That's different than being like, can I get one chocolate fudge case, one cookie dough case, and one peanut butter case? Like, let me know how I can pay with my credit card. I have it here now. And it's like, okay. I used to just, like, place her order online, like, pretending to be her. But, what was I just saying? Oh, yeah. So, anyway, we're trying to tell everybody to, like, come over to online. We had a lull in business. We basically started over.
Oh, 100%.
We rebranded.
Not basically, 100%.
We rebranded. We used to be From a Small Seed when we were a farmer's market brand. And then when we moved to Raleigh, we became Small Seed Bar. Yeah. So we fully rebranded, didn't know anybody, kind of just, like, started fresh. And we just were, like, both 100% in on it at this point. And we were trying to hustle as hard as we could before our baby got here, like before Opal got here. Like, seriously, we would be like working from sunup to sundown. We would be going to as many accounts as we could.
In North Carolina,
dropping off samples.
We dropped off to 308 locations when we first moved there. 308, gave each one of those accounts 6
Samples.
bars.
Yeah.
We drove from
All over.
Asheville
Yes.
all the way across to Wilmington.
Yeah.
We went everywhere. 380 accounts. Just pouring, just trying to get anyone to order anything to get our name out there.
Because at the time, we were very focused on wholesale.
Yeah,
like,
we
our
thought that was
whole
the ticket.
goal was, like, wholesale was going to be exactly where we, like, poured into.
And it was for a long time.
It was.
Yeah.
It was until the pandemic happened. But, so then Opal came. That was, like, a really hard transition for me into, like, splitting my time because I was just, like, fully 100% committed to Small Seed and, like, everything Small Seed was doing, like, trying to get us to where we needed to be before she was born. And then I basically was just, like, fully into motherhood. And Shane just took over, like, everything. Like, including social media. He was doing everything. He was making the bars. He would literally be at our kitchen from, like, we'd work out in the morning. No, we didn't even work out. We didn't even work out for the first
days.
Yeah, we didn't work out for the first 3 months Opal was born. We didn't even work out. He would literally just go to he'd go to the kitchen. He would make bars, be gone all day. He would make content for us, be gone all day, and then come home. Like, I would just literally be with Opal. Like, the first 3 months of Opal's life was just me and her.
Yeah.
And, like,
I would take Opal from, like, 12 to 3 so you could actually get some real sleep.
Yeah.
And then I would sleep from 3 to 6 and go back in the kitchen from 6 to 12.
Yes. Yeah.
That was my whole day.
And, like, I, like, literally would not
days
see
straight.
him. Yeah, I wouldn't even see him. I would make dinner, leave it for him to come home at night, eat it. I would, like, see him while I'd be, like, breastfeeding Opal at night, but, like, we didn't really, like, see each other. We were just, like, busy, like, fully focused on growing Small Seed. Because we were also so busy. We did so much stuff manually back then. Like, so
Our
much.
process
Like,
was not
everything
sure.
was, like, just dragged. Like, we hand-placed chocolate chips.
Oh, yeah.
That is how time-consuming of the things we were doing.
Sealed everything.
We hand-sealed it all.
We cut things with a knife.
Yeah.
Bars were hand cut with a knife. And also, the way I batch was like a quarter of the amount I batch now at once.
Yeah, it was not.
Half.
It wasn't. It just wasn't.
Half.
We didn't have. You know, you learn.
You learn.
Yeah,
Reps
you
are
learn as
required.
you go. You learn as you go.
That's it.
We've got, like, Shane's gotten so much better. Like, and honestly, like, everything's gotten better. The product's gotten better. The processes have gotten better. We've had.
I would just like to say that's because I did all of this.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I said. Shane
I'm just
made it.
kidding.
I did. I just said Shane made it.
I enhanced the product. I enhanced the process. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, everything has gotten, like,
Social media is completely different, though. You radicalized that. I'll give you that.
it's just
I did good in 2019. We had some good people.
we had a good little buzz in there. We did. Why are you laughing? We had a good buzz.
Just funny. But anyway.
Social media has changed so much since 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Because reels weren't even a thing. Like, videos were not a thing. It was just stories were a thing, right?
Remember my like time.
I think stories were a
videos were a
thing.
thing. Stories just became like a thing.
Okay, yeah.
But
because we'd be on a story. People
remember
used
my
to
time
love.
nights and it was like, can Shane make 10,000 bars in 3 days?
Yeah.
For that event in Florida?
Yeah.
Monster.
Yeah, that was fun times.
Not
So
fun.
we had gotten, like, how many accounts did we have when we were there, like, in total?
Before the pandemic?
Yeah.
52?
52 very active accounts.
52 accounts.
Active accounts, yeah.
52.
52 active accounts.
Primarily in North Carolina.
Yeah. All
We had like a couple
in
like
California.
small, like mishap ones, but primarily
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Yeah, for sure. We had, like,
We were all over the state.
Yeah. We were everywhere because we had dropped off bars all over the place. But that also goes to show you, literally knock on 300 doors, you're only going to get 50. You're only going to get 50 yeses. So, it really does build character.
Out of those 300 doors, I think we got like 5 accounts. And then we had to then once we were serving these 5 accounts, we started meeting more people.
Yeah, because also what was going on is, like, because we weren't anywhere and we were no one and we knew no one, they were like, what the like, we're not going to take, like, who are you? Sorry, what? And then once we got into a couple good ones, we were like, hey, we're here. We're in, like, we're in Weaver Street. Like, once we got in Weaver Street Market, that was also, like, a big step for us, too.
Yeah.
Because that was, like, our first co-op.
Sure.
That was, like, more legitimized. It was, like, a grocery store, basically.
It is grocery store.
And that really gave us
Leverage.
the leverage to be able to start talking to large retailers, which in 2019, 2020, end of 2019, beginning of 2020, we
Fall 2019. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, end of 2019. Yeah. Because, like I said, our main focus was to do wholesale. We were talking with large retailers.
Okay.
What are you going to say? No, go ahead.
I was going to say, we shipped things online, but it wasn't like our primary, I would spend one whole day every week driving just to do wholesale.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember, I'd be like,
No, I do.
this week I'm going to
You
the
go all the
west
way to
side of North
Wilmington
Carolina,
and you
this week
drop
I'm
them off,
going
yeah.
to the east side of North Carolina. Raleigh, I would do throughout the week all the time because we lived there. But like 30% of my time was just dropping off orders because also we couldn't sustain the temperature controlling and shipping and like we can now. The product's changed.
It was totally different.
I changed the product to do that.
Yeah, it was totally different. It wouldn't hold. It didn't hold very well.
So like I had to go drop off. Everything had to be hand delivered to wholesale accounts for the bars to last while they're there.
Yeah. Even like the people who ordered from us, honestly, probably out of all of like it was probably 10% of like what we were making.
I was going to say 80-20. I think most of our revenue, 80% of our revenue was wholesale.
Yeah. And yeah, we had like a handful of people ordering online. Some people left from California, and then some of our people like up north, and then maybe some people who had met us at like at like Veg Fest and stuff like that, because we also had focused a lot in 2019. We focused a lot on Veg Fest, so we drove all around. Yeah, we drove. We just had Opal was a baby.
I did the Charleston Veg Fest here.
You did?
I don't know if you remember.
No, I don't remember that.
It was horrible, but I had to come here by myself, and I drove, and it was like 5 hours.
You did Charleston? Are you sure it was Charleston?
Yes.
That's really funny. I don't remember.
It was funny.
And it was just horrible.
It was not in Charleston, it was like on the outskirts.
This is also the thing, is we thought we were like, we thought where we were going was like, we thought what we had to focus on was that we were a vegan product. That's not ever who we were. And I feel like we were heavily pushing on, we were heavily pushing on the vegan community.
Sure,
and we do not, like, we are technically a vegan product. We're a plant-based product. We're a plant-based protein bar. But we do not fit into a typical vegan community.
Also, our
and what
small
I mean
C
by
does
that,
not. Go ahead.
No, what I mean by that is that like these veg fests that we would go to, people wanted like the junky vegan food. They didn't want like a healthy vegan product. They were like, these are good, but like not what I'm here for. You know what I mean? And I feel like there was like the health conscious ones, which would end up being the ones who would order from us online.
1 out of 1,000.
Yeah, but it was like, I would say the majority of the people and the majority of events, and that's also one of the things that we learned by doing these events, which it's important to do the events because you just don't know if that's going to be your people or not. Like at the beginning, especially, just trade your time because you really don't know.
And your money.
Yeah,
we paid to learn all of this.
Yeah. Of course, yeah, you have to pay for food.
Also pay for time, pay for a product, give away free product.
Yeah, we gave her
like this is why I think people, not to make this like this is our story, but like you have to invest first. You have to pour in like way more money than you want.
Yeah.
Because you need to learn.
Exactly. And you do learn. So you don't make
you don't, and then you lose.
Well, yeah. You should learn is what I should say. And yeah, so we were like really pouring into the Veg Fest in 2019 too. And anyways, yeah, so 20% of our sales was from online, 80% was from wholesale. We were mostly doing wholesale. We were talking to large retailers, we were talking to Wegmans, we were talking to Harris Teeter, we were talking to we were talking to...
It was like 3 or 4 big ones, right?
Yeah, we were talking to Head, is that what it's called? I can't remember. We were talking to a couple other ones. We're talking to Publix. And then the pandemic happened, and everything just went... Also, like, everything just went, like, frozen. Like, all of those conversations, basically...
They're like, see us in 6 months. 6 months later, see you in 6 months.
Yeah, like, they just stopped. Like, all those conversations...
They're like, we're not... Eventually, they just got to the point where they're just like, we're not onboarding new products.
Yeah, exactly. They told us, like, we're not reviewing any new products. We're not, like, having meetings. Because back in the... I'm sure it's still like this. Like, you have to go in and pitch your product. Like, you literally go to their headquarters and you pitch your product. That's what it used to be like, at least.
Also, if you get a store, they want you to go in and demo. And you couldn't demo...
Back then,
during that time.
Yeah. So at this time also, because of the pandemic and everything had shut down, and what we sold in mostly was small coffee shops, small juice bars, small gyms. That was like all of those closed.
Overnight, we lost all of our revenue.
70%. We lost 70% of our wholesale.
Gone.
Totally
for
gone.
Months.
And some of them, because Raleigh was really bad, like the riots and stuff were really bad in Raleigh. Like all of Raleigh's downtown just like burned down like at one point. And some of those accounts literally just lost their business. Like they were never going to open back up. Some of them lost their business because they couldn't afford to open back up once things could slightly open back up. Like there was just kind of when things...
12. We went from 52 to 12. That only 12 of those businesses lasted the pandemic.
Yeah. That was... Because also some of them too were like, we're only doing, you can people weren't coming to sit down too.
Right.
Like our bars would be something that you'd like be at a cafe, you'd be doing work or something, and you'd get a coffee in a bar.
Right.
That type of thing. It was like people weren't coming in and doing that anymore. People were staying home and they were like scared and stuff. So
I mean, even the commissary. So we rented a private room in a kitchen. In the commissary, I think maybe like 4 people out of the 80 people that rented from that place were there after 2020.
Like crazy.
4.
Because these people were also, they were like bakers and they were like small businesses, people who relied on like community events and events that were going on.
Yeah, food trucks have to go
food
places.
Trucks, yeah.
Gone.
A lot of them were food trucks. Yeah, totally just like fully lost their business. And we almost also fully lost our business.
Really close.
Like, by all means, we should have actually lost our business. Because, financially.
Oh, yeah.
Because basically we got to this place where like, are things going to open back up? Kind of how everybody felt. Like, we're not sure what's going on. They told us 6 weeks or whatever. The 6 weeks passed. Another 6 weeks. Everything's getting crazier. Like, it doesn't seem like anything good is coming from it. Downtown Raleigh burns down. We're like, this is crazy. Like, we're about to lose everything. Like, we need to radically like pivot what we're doing. So we're like, all right, what can we control? We can control direct-to-consumer. We can control our community. And at this time, we were like posting on Instagram, but we weren't like
it was an investment.
Deeply invested in social media. We weren't deeply invested. We like had a little community, but we weren't like deeply invested in it. We were like, we need to go full-fledged on social. We need to go and Shane was doing, I took over Small Seeds account at this time. He was doing like his own personal account, was like also trying to grow personally and get those connections personally so that we could then like funnel them like, hey, back to Small Seed Bar. We just like started trying to like create as much content as possible, trying to just like reach as many people as possible, trying to make connections, and basically totally pivoted from like we are a wholesale company to now we are a direct-to-consumer company. And I'm so happy that happened.
Me too.
Like, I'm so happy. Like, we look back on that and we're like, it was such a blessing in disguise. Like, everything happens for a reason. But I don't think we would have found the success that we have, or even the community that we have now, if that had never happened.
We'd have no community.
We wouldn't, because
we'd be like all the CPG companies.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't like that.
It's nothing. Yeah, they have nothing. Like, there's nobody behind them. Like, and so we were like, people are like, we can still ship to people online. We can't go into a store. All of these stores basically stop conversations with us. Like, this, we don't know when anything's going to change. And so it came to a point where Shane was like, we don't have any money. We're actually losing money. So we need to do something. I was talking in early 2020 about moving to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And so he was like, I think we both were like, what if we move? Like, what if we sell the house? At this time, the housing market was like at that bubble where it was like houses were just selling for a crazy amount of money. We sold our house for like almost, how much?
50% more.
50, yeah, like so much more than that house was worth.
Okay, it's worth that same amount now.
All those houses are, even this house that we bought we spent so much more on it. But, so what we did is we decided we were going to sell our house, and from the money of selling our house, we were going to take that and use that to basically fund Small Seed, fund ourselves so that we don't have to pull money from Small Seed, so Small Seed can continue to like grow, and also fund Small Seed for like the things that we needed to do. And again, just like we decided on Raleigh, I was literally in labor with Sage, and we were like, we're going to move. I thought I wanted to move to Florida, but then something was just pulling me to South Carolina. And I'm like, I don't know, I think we're supposed to be in South Carolina. Then we were like, not Florida, because Florida was getting like real saturated. So we're like, all right, between South Carolina and Tennessee. And then I was like, I don't know, something's pulling me to South Carolina. Like, I think we need to be in South Carolina. And then we just randomly picked Charleston. Like, I don't even know why
me either, but Sage was what, like 3 days old?
When we drove down? Yeah.
And we just drove down like a bunch of houses.
We literally were like, I was like in labor, and we were like on Zillow, like trying to find houses and like talking to a realtor about like coming down. And Shane's like talking to her, like, yeah, we're at the hospital right now. She's like, why are you calling me? Do you remember that? We were really like calling her. She's like, okay, don't call me. Like, if I get the hospital, I'm like, yeah,
nothing's happening.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, she's good. She just got her epidural. Like,
you guys don't know how we operate.
So yeah, so we decided we were moving, And we literally just we're like, all right, we're moving again, just like dead focused on that's what's going to happen. That's what we're going to do. That's what's going to fund Small Seed. So we did. We came, we visited. We had never been to Charleston before. Also, I should preface that. I guess Shane had been for a Veg Fest, but never really been. Like, you know, most people vacation here and stuff. No, we had literally never seen Charleston. We had never been here before. I just picked Charleston. It was between, like, I don't even know. I was looking at a couple places, but I just, like, had this pull. Like, this was the place that was pulling me. Which ends up all like coming full circle because I feel like this place is just so like,
it's a good place.
So great. Yeah. I love it here too. The Raleigh community was so great and the Charleston community is so great too. And so, yeah, we drove from Raleigh to Charleston when Sage was 3 days old. Like, a day after we got out of the hospital. 2 days after we got out of the hospital.
Yeah, maybe the next day.
And saw a bunch of houses. Hated every single house that we saw. And then ended up finding this house and literally moved like within a month. Was it even a month?
Yeah, Sage was born in early August. We closed on this house
in September.
September
moved in October
21st or whatever, and then moved the first of October.
Yeah.
So 2 months.
And used that money to fund Small Seed so that we could continue running Small Seed, and literally just fully 100% went in on like, okay, how like what's the best ways to do social media? Who do we want our brand to be? Like, what do we want it to be? What do we want people to feel when they come to our page? How are we going to create trust with like our community? How are we getting our community to talk about us? Because as all of you guys know, we don't spend money on marketing. Word of mouth is our only marketing. Like that's why I'm always so like I love this. I love our Small Seed community, and I will like pour into them, and I will literally give them like all of my time and love, because I'm like the only reason we are where we are is because of this community and because people share our product with their friends, with their family. They post it on social media, whatever it is. Like, that is how we grow. That's how we continue to grow. There's literally nothing else we do besides that. Besides make a good product, have good, like, be good people, hopefully, and, like, have a great community and have good customer service. And that's, like, basically our formula of how we've continued to grow from, like, nothing to everything. Yeah. And also how we took our business from 70% wholesale or 80% wholesale, 20% online to 80% online, 20% wholesale.
Yeah, I would say this one's probably
10% wholesale, 90% online. Yeah, we're
we kind of do wholesale.
yeah, you're right. We don't really. It's like so fringe.
It's less than 10% of our revenue.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like last year.
I mean, because I just did our book, so it's less than 10% of our revenue.
Yeah, so we don't really do wholesale at all anymore. Which maybe you can talk about that. What? Why we, like, everything we kind of learned, and why we realized we actually don't want to, even when things, like, open back up, things were, like, you know, now things are totally back to normal, but, I would say, mostly back to normal, but why we didn't, or are we going to save that for, like, in part 2?
Yeah, we can skip that, because this story's pretty good. But essentially, we don't plan on going into wholesale.
Yeah, no. We don't plan on going into wholesale. I'm so happy that all of that happened. I'm so happy that we created a community. We figured out how to, like, build a better website, how to ship better, how to make our product better, because at the time, like Shane said, our product didn't necessarily need to be better to ship because we were driving it around to places. Yeah. We weren't, like, thinking about how it could, like, move in transit. Yeah, but how it could move in transit. Like, at that point, it was like, okay, now we're shipping it, like, all over the country. We need to figure out how these bars can be, like, the best possible like, the best from, like, us shipping them to them getting them. And, yeah, we've had so many, like, iterations of what Small Seed Bar is, but it's really stayed at, like, its base and its core the whole time. We've just made it, like, better and better and better and better over time.
I'll keep making it better.
Yeah. If there's anything new that comes up, we'll just keep getting better and better and better. Yeah. But yeah, what else am I missing from Small Seed's origin story? Now we're here. Our goal now, like, we are, I say this all the time, but I think it's because it's true. Like, we are the best bar on the market.
Oh, for sure.
We are the best bar on the market. We are the cleanest bar on the market. We're the bar with the highest protein on the market that also has clean ingredients. We have low sugar, high fiber. We're like our bar tastes good. It's a real bar. There's a reason why people are like, they start eating Small Seed bars and then maybe they don't get them, or they like go on a trip or something and then they get another bar and they're like, these other bars are trash. Because once you start eating our bars, which are basically like a cookie, like, they're not a protein bar texture. Right. They're not sticky. They're not chewy. They're not plasticky. They don't, like, tear and, like, have, like, a exterior, like, you all know what I mean by this. Like, there's just like a tear
Elastic.
to, elasticness to it. They break. Like, they break in half.
Crumble.
Yeah. They're real food. And I think that's like, and they're convenient. Like, I feel like what people were missing, and also why we even created Small Seed in the first place, is we needed something convenient, we needed something nutritious, and we needed something that tasted good. There was nothing that had all three of those at the time, and I still don't believe that there's anything that can even compete with Small Seed. I know I may sound biased because it's our bar, but people tell me it all the time too. They're like, I love Small Seed. Once I try Small Seed, it just ruins every other bar. And I feel like we put so much like time and energy and love into this product that it's made it like exactly what it is today. And our community and the feedback from our community, because we've also changed our bars. Like, over time, we've tweaked certain things because our community has given us feedback. Like, when we get the same feedback, like, over and over again, like, we don't just say, oh, yeah, like, fuck you, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to take that and we, like, put it in, like, we're, like, filing it away, and we're like, hey, we're noticing something. There's there's information that keeps getting told to us. Like, we need to look into this and we need to change it because our community clearly feels XYZ about it, you know?
Or, we need to meet their needs. So that's why we're here, to provide an answer to their problems. Like, the macros was the big switch, I think, that put us over onto, like, a broader spectrum.
That, too. We have the best macros. 4 ingredients. So. 4 ingredients. Our bar is like a whole food. Like, it's literally a meal.
It is a meal.
People use it as a meal. It's a meal.
That's when we originally made them, you're like, we made them protein bars, but we actually just made meal replacements.
Yes.
That's what they were meant to be.
Originally, they were like a snack bar, though.
Sure.
Back in San Diego.
But they're really like a meal replacement.
Yes.
Like, you don't need a meal, you can eat this.
Yes, they were, because we were so busy, we weren't eating anything.
They're still very much the same way.
Yes.
Like, my friend's like a 215-pound bodybuilder, and he was like, sometimes I'm really busy and I gotta eat my meals, I just eat 2 of your bars and it covers my macros perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm like, 2 bars, $7.
There you go. That's all you need. That's cheaper than a meal you can get when you're
I mean,
cheaper than like a fast food.
McDonald's, as I like to say. What was it, like $15 for a Big Mac? And they're subsidized by the government just to do that.
Yeah, but I do feel like Small Seed is here to stay. We've gone through so many bumps. I probably didn't even cover all the bumps we've gone through because it's just been like such a bumpy ride. But
that's a good recap, though.
We're coming out on top.
Yeah. Just for like, we probably get a lot of new people on YouTube, especially now they're on there. And then people here may not even know our origin story.
Yeah, and also...
because it was like so deep on our old podcast.
Yeah, and also I feel like I kind of tell like slightly different. It's the same...
Sure. But that's how you know it's true. You know,
I give different details is what I mean.
People who say the same story with nothing changed like me, that's how you know it's all a lie. So I have it just like memorized.
I don't mean like it's a different story. I mean, I just give more detail.
Well, that's actually how you know things are true. When things slightly change, that's actually a sign of someone telling the truth.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because it's not.
People who say the exact same thing is usually someone who's rehearsed and they're lying.
Yeah.
But it's just a funny thing
it's
about human behavior. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Now I would say we're not a protein bar company. We are an educational company.
Yeah.
That sells protein bars to provide education.
Yes.
Our protein bars are still great, and it's like what we do. But we're actually like a health conscious company to educate other people's, and then to make sure you can keep providing educational content. We sell protein bars
for sure, but I think the protein bars are like
flagship item.
Yeah, it's like the stepping stone to it. You know, like it is the protein bars, and that is where all of the information and education and everything like stems from.
Sure. From
the bars, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because without the bars, we wouldn't even be having all this.
That's my whole point, what I just said.
Yeah.
We do all these things because of the bars.
But the bars are the stepping stone.
Trust me, I spend like 90 hours a week making them. I know what they are.
But that's our story. Is there anything else you want to add?
Sounds a whole like her story. Clearly you're going to tell I'm just the slave in the kitchen. And the chauffeur.
I said we.
Eventually this is a podcast. This is the only podcast you're going to talk the most on. 90-10.
I think I just talked the whole time. I don't even know what I said.
I tried to interrupt you like 3 times, and 2 of them were shut down.
You guys, I really hate when I do that too. It's a really bad habit of mine. I did it on one of our last podcasts, and I was like, I really hate myself for doing that, for talking over you.
I don't care.
I know, but I really don't like. It's a personal thing I don't like. I did it too, and I was like, oh, I work really hard not to do it because I'm very aware that I do it to people. So I'm like,
people like you and I would just keep going. Like, we have to interrupt each other. Otherwise, neither of us will talk. One of us will just dominate the conversation.
It is me, though. I do. I
interrupt you, too.
In our relationship, it's me 90, you 10, just me talking all
Trust me, I know.
I always joke with Shane, if I didn't talk, we wouldn't even be talking in our relationship. It's just me all the time. All right, for real. Anything else you want to add?
No, we'll probably do this again.
All right, we're gonna do this again.
No. I meant like again.
We'll probably do.
We'll probably talk about these things
maybe next
again.
week we'll do part 2 because I want to go into like the wholesale side of things. Why we decided not to do wholesale. Like
we'll do that one.
what
I'm not gonna say it's gonna be next week.
A part 2. I'm saying not next week, but a part 2 to this.
Sure.
Which is like our vision, our goals,
our trajectory,
stuff like that.
What we want to do,
where we're going.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So listen. Stay tuned for that one.